April is, for Lakota people, is usually the beginning of the new year. Yeah, for us, and the end of April usually is the beginning of, what we would say a new year. Okay, so we don't have January 1st. We don't have numbers for days. We don't have a calendar, anything like that. But we had, when the moon, uh, when you see the moon, um, that people know that, okay, at this time usually this happens, or at this month usually this happens. Because it's a cyclical thing. So we have names for the moons or the months, but we don't have names for days because we don't have that. That's a Gregorian thing. Yeah, that's a on the mm, Western. Well, that's a Catholic thing. Yeah, and of course later Christian, and then um, uh, when the industrial age begins and people use this calendar extensively concerning how many days people are going to be working, things like that. And so in that kind of society, days of the week are a big thing. But in the Lakota ancient world, that's not important. So, we, yes, today in Lakota language, you do see words, for Monday, Tuesday, and so forth, but those words were created by Catholic priests. We don't have those days. I mean, those words. Why we don't even have those days? Yeah, days of the week. We don't have things like that. So when I teach Lakota language, I don't emphasize that. Yeah, I just say, well, hey, this is not from our culture, so just say Friday. Yeah, it's not traditional, so just say Tuesday. You don't have to say Betu Owanka Yujajapi for Saturday. Gee, it's a long word. Just say Saturday. It's easier. And like I said, when it's not from our culture, I don't think we should be using a Lakota word to it. I'm not extreme about that. Uh, so, anywho, usually April is the time for this is when certain things happen, and actually there's something that usually begins in February, and I talked about it already on this show. Yeah, but I know there might be new listeners listening tonight. But every February of the year, uh, there's a time when people in ancient times. Now, hardly anybody does this today, but in ancient times, people would gather their red willow bark and prepare it. This is what they smoke in the pipes. Yeah, we don't use nicotine, tobacco. We use this red willow. We call it chanshasha. Chun is from the tree, and sha is red. So shasha is really red. Yeah, chanshasha. So that's what they use in the pipes, and they usually gather that and prepare that in February. And then in March, there's a certain group of people that go up to the highest mountain in the Black Hills, and it used to be called Harney's Peak, but that's named after a white guy. Yeah, but they just changed that. Um, Last year, I think they changed the name, um, and I think that's pretty cool. Black Elk's Peak, is that what they call it, or Black Elk's Mountain, or something like that? Changed it, and it's good that they did that because this Harney guy he was a racist. Yeah, he did not like Indians whatsoever. So it's good that they changed that name. But this is the highest point, highest point, the high, the highest mountain in the Black Hills, and there they do a ceremony um, where they call back the thunders. Yeah, this happens on spring, what do you call that? Equinox? Is that right? Yeah, spring equinox is when that happens. And then after they do the ceremony, they go to the center of the Black Hills. There's a wide open space in the Black Hills. Black Hills, for those of you that don't know, this is like a mountain area in southwestern South Dakota. Goes into Wyoming and Montana, and like that. Okay, this is the Black Hills. This is considered sacred by Lakota people, and other tribes also consider it sacred too. So they go to the center of the Black Hills to a place called Preshla. Preshla is like um, imagine top of a head and it's bald. That's Preshla. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Yeah, because it's like a prairie, but it's really up high. Yeah, it's really above elevation of the rest of the prairie because it's in the center of the Black Hills. Yeah, it's very, very, very high elevation. And there in the center, they do another ceremony. In this ceremony, they call back the animals who are either sleeping or they flew south for the winter. So they're calling them back. And they call back the plants and the flowers and things like that. And that's where they do that ceremony. And that usually happens right after the the calling the thunders on spring equinox. Yeah, and then the the people split into two groups. One goes northwest, and the other one goes southwest to the Teton Mountains in Colorado. And there they gather rocks from lava, yeah, dried lava, and they're going to use these rocks in sweat lodge ceremonies where the south or the northwest group is. The northwest group goes to a place called Matotipila, and today people know this as Devil's Tower. Now that's not a Native American anything because we don't have a devil in our belief system. Yeah, we don't have a Satan, which means we don't have a hell either, which means we don't have a God and we don't have a heaven either. And a lot of people today don't understand that. And I will explain the reason why later, okay? But so when a word is when something has devil in it, that's not from our culture, because we don't have the good versus evil argument in our culture, okay? Our ancient culture. Today, a lot of Indians do believe in that, but there's a reason why, and it's not a good reason, okay? And it is a false belief to good versus evil. That our ancient relatives or ancestors, they didn't believe in good versus evil. So the name Devil's Tower is not coming from our culture, okay? That's coming from white people. So, because this it's a big mountain and it looks like a giant tree, a stump, yeah. And a lot of mountain climbers try to climb it and they fell to their deaths. So that's why they call it Devil's Tower. But there's others, other stories too. Anyway, that's where the Northwest group goes. Okay, and what they're doing is they're going to prepare for 2-3 months. They're making preparations for a ceremony that's going to happen there on summer solstice, and that's the sun dance. Wiwayang Wachipi. That's what's going to happen there. Okay, so the southwest group is gathering lava rocks. Now you may be asking, why lava? Yeah, why does it have to be lava rocks? Well, think about that. Lava is coming from the center of the earth. That means it has a sacred energy. Yeah, because this is coming from the center of the earth. That's sacred. So there's a sacred energy in that lava. It's creation. Yeah, this is why they use those rocks. They're going to use them in sweat lodge ceremonies that accompany the sun dance, which is going to happen 3 months later. Yeah, so there's a lot of preparation that's going to be done. So this is the kind of thing that happens every year, anciently. I mean, it doesn't happen anymore, but anciently, this is what happened every year. And that's the spring journey. It's a star knowledge thing. And these places where they gather the lava rocks, this Matotipila, this Peshla, this place where they call back the thunders, those all have star constellations. Yeah, we have our own star constellations, and some of these places are represented in the stars. So when the sun is moving through a certain path, that means we have to be at that location. Yeah. For example, we have a pipe um, constellation. Okay. And when the sun passes through this pipe, that is the signal to start preparing um, the tobacco, the chanshasha that I was talking about earlier. That's that's when. So that's February. See, and then you watch the path of the sun, and then it goes through another constellation, and I forget this one, but this one is represented by that black elk peak or mountain. I got to get the correct name for that. Um, and so when that goes through that constellation, that means the people have to go there next. Yeah. Then a few days later, it goes through the Preshla constellation. So then we have to go to that location on the Earth. See how this works? Let's see, we're following something that's happening in the stars. We're reflecting it on the Earth. That's the whole idea behind our sacred concepts. It's reflection. For example, how you are inside of yourself, that shows that's going to show in your communication, and also how you treat others and how you interpret others communication to you. That's a reflection. Reflections are a really big part of our culture. That's why when you look at Lakota designs, they're geometric and they reflect each other. That's the reason why. Yeah, that is the reason why. So, um, so these are the kind of things that happen. Yeah. But like I said, in April, towards the end of April, is kind of our new year, and it's not we don't have days of the week, so this could happen any day. Yeah, it depends on one thing, and that is the return of the meadowlarks. Yeah, the meadowlark birds. When these birds come back from the south, see, they really sing pretty songs. Yeah, the meadowlarks. These are small birds. They kind of gray, off-white. Uh, they have dark spots on their feathers, and their chest is yellow, and it looks like they're wearing a black bib, yeah, around their neck, and they really sing pretty songs. And there's some people say they speak Lakota. Yeah, so they when the meadowlark birds came, they come on the sit on the teepee, And the tradition is that they're saying "Pteng chala pina ping." They say that over and over, yeah. "Pteng chala pina ping. Pteng chala pina ping." This means buffalo calf liver is good to eat because when you eat liver, buffalo liver, it really tastes good. Now, this is uncooked. Yeah, you don't cook this. You eat it raw, right when the buffalo is prepared. You eat the liver raw, and it really, really tastes good. So when you eat the buffalo calf liver, it really makes you feel good. Yeah, you just really feel good. And when you hear these birds come back in April, it makes people feel good too. Yeah, I remember that. My mother is really practiced that. Yeah, so like I remember one time she was in the kitchen and it was April and we were visiting and she opened the kitchen window because the weather was really good and she heard the meadowlarks and she said, "Oh, that feels good." She said, "That winter's over." Because see, when these meadowlarks return, that means no more snow. Yeah, that means no more snow. So people are happy. Yeah, when they hear the meadowlark bird singing, they really feel good, and because it goes hand in hand with eating buffalo liver. That really makes you feel good too. See, all these things have this association of the arrival of spring, that everything is new again. Yeah, everything is starting a new cycle. So that's why in the Lakota way, our new year starts in April, at the end of April, could be any day.